What is going on, badasses around the globe? It is BADonny, and today I'm bringing you Pretty Fly for Badass. I believe we're on episode 9. I'm going to double check this because I'm not too quite sure. We are on episode 8, actually, which is a very big surprise because normally, I know this kind of stuff. But, yeah, it's just been very stressful lately. So, I want to just, hopefully you guys are having a good day and everything. Overall, my day has probably been a little bit stressful. So, this sort of starts things off before I jump into any major topics, because I want to try to fit at least 3 topics in for each podcast, because I've noticed that some of my podcasts have been a little bit short, like my solo ones. I realize I'm alone and all that stuff, but I feel like I want to extend it out. I talk too fast, and it kind of just, it's over really fast when it begins, and I cover 5 topics, and it kind of just jumbles everything up. So I'm going to kind of just slow down, kind of go through things, and just, you know what, take my time, be chill. Because I realize, even though I am energetic when I talk, I'm a chill guy. And that's all there is to it. So yeah, first thing I wanted to talk to, basically about today was school. And what was I wanted to go into depth about what was going on. Because as you know, this probably is most likely going to be going up before July, sometime mid-July. When I said in my previous video that I wasn't going to be posting till then. So things went around. We kind of got our internet back, which, to be honest, I'm not surprised. I'm not really sure how it happened because my dad cut it off, so maybe he put it back on. I'm not quite sure when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm not usually notified about the whole shebang. So, with that being brought back, I should be able to fit a couple of videos in before I move. But the whole idea with what I was, what our whole moving schedule is I originally moved from a place called, well, I'm not going to go into that, but it's a place that has roughly around 350 people. So it's not that big of a town, probably 10 blocks, 12 blocks, somewhere in there. I'm not whole mathy when it comes to that. But we moved to a town probably 2.5 hours north, it's a little bit bigger, probably about, I don't even know the size of the place. It's more of it's a bigger place. That's all I can really say about it. So, we kind of moved here, and things went out. We've been here for about a year now, and we are actually moving back to the place where we came from. Because my parents were actually able to find a house. I don't know if they're whole buying it or anything, but usually it doesn't matter, because honestly, way things are going, in about 2 years, I will probably be moving out. So, yeah. Things will be going kind of out there, and I'm not too quite sure. Is my thing recording? I'm just double checking with that. Yeah, because I'm trying to just calm it down and everything like that. So, with us moving back, our internet, we're probably going to have it cut down probably in probably a week, 2 weeks time. And, honestly, I'm not really too mad about it. It's, because, you need a break sometimes. You just need to be kind of, calm down, kind of have some relaxed time. That's how it's been going for my exams. Normally I wouldn't be recording right now if I wasn't too worried about my exams. Or if I was just all I was focusing on. But I found out recently, actually, that if you kind of, sure you can't slack off or anything like that. But I felt like this was me, and you can't give up a part of you just to become something you're not. And I actually talked about this probably in about my 6th podcast, so that's probably roughly a month ago, sometimes around there. Dates on YouTube never give me the exact time unless I go into it, but I'm not going to do that. So basically, yeah, I actually did some really shitty stuff that resulted in me doing something opposite of what I believed in. And that's because I was really pressured during my exam, and just overall, normally I don't sweat about the small stuff. Obviously exams aren't really small things, but in my mind, I used to think, oh, well, whatever happens, happens. And my logical, basically what I grew up believing, I kind of lost sight of that and did something I shouldn't have. But if you guys want to know more about that, go check out my podcast. Link will be in the description. I guess I'll throw that in there. As well as, just don't lose sight of who you are when you do exams. So I kind of just sat back. I'm going to upload this video today. So I uploaded my part 7 of my Fire Red series, which, actually, I'm going to get right into that after this. But yeah, I kind of upload that. I was like, you know what, I haven't uploaded in roughly close to a month, so I'm just going to upload this and kind of just go from there. So if you guys want to also watch that, obviously there'll be, well, they took out annotations out, I think, so I can't put that in an annotation at the end. So I guess I'll throw that in the description as well, or else you can go to my channel, check that out, and just kind of go along with it. So also, I'm sorry about if I sound really tired today. It's like I was saying at the beginning, like, I went through a series of exams today, and I'm just honestly very tired. And I'm not even close to being finished, so I'm going to have to get to bed, because it's going to be roughly around 5:30 when I'm recording this my time. So I'll probably be hopping into bed probably around 9, somewhere around there. 9:10, get some good sleep, because I have another test tomorrow. I think I have 2 tests tomorrow, actually. But yeah, just something along the lines of that, and just simply, we're moving back to that place, just to sum it up, and, well, we're going to probably start moving and packing everything once I finish my exams, and then once my exams are finished and like we all move out, it's probably gonna take some time before we get all set up, and I honestly might take a couple of weeks off, kind of like once we get moved in, just simply because I want to like just go and say hello to everybody I kind of left behind about a year ago, and just kind of like see how they're doing, kind of just hang out with them for a bit, kind of chill out, and yeah, just have a good time while I'm there. And honestly, I don't know, like, if I'm only going to be spending a year and a half there, I honestly want to spend it in the best way I can. So, that's why I want to kind of just hang out with my friends and everything before they all move out, go to college, do whatever they have planned for their lives, before I have to go on with my life. So, that's definitely one thing I wanted to get off, so I guess it's kind of school out of the way. Another thing I wanted to go to, I actually was going to get into during my previous session, but I didn't want to completely run over it, is that I actually figured out how to get my OBS working to the point where it's not glitching the hell out and lagging. So I should be able to record my Fire Red on OBS, meaning you won't have that stupid watermark showing up, meaning you'll have some better, I guess, quality content, and honestly, I'm pretty excited for that, because we have a great episode coming up next, I guess probably next week sometime. I don't know when I'm going to be recording it. It's really hard to tell. So, we're going to have I won't spoil it, but make sure to go and check it out when it comes out. It really does help me out. But yeah, and I've honestly been trying to come up with better ideas for podcast questions to ask and all that stuff. And kind of just more or less answer for you guys. So this podcast, I guess, could be beneficial. Because I wanted to kind of shift it away from games and everything. Just because, like Pat was saying, like, this isn't a reskin of that. It's just more or less, I want just, if I need to express myself to other people, or just simply just want to talk to other people, or talk to you guys, for example. It's a good way to kind of like blow off that and kind of just talk and all that stuff. Different from recording games, where you have to be focused and do all this kind of stuff. With me, I could just trail off, do whatever, and honestly not be too worried about it. And I feel like that's what a lot of my previous podcasts have been more news and interviews and stuff. And that's one thing I don't like about it. But with this, I kind of want to just shift off slowly, because I've been watching and like listening to a lot of other podcasts. Like I went back and watched some of Pat's older podcasts. I actually started getting into Painkillers Already, which is a podcast that is actually by Woody's Gamertag, and I think there's a couple of other people on there. I'm not too quite sure who shows up, but there's a lot of cool hosts on there, and I honestly feel like they're pretty interesting to go and watch. So I recommend you guys going and listening to those podcasts. I would say they're really worth it. But yeah, the next thing I kind of wanted to go into was motivation. Pretty much goals. Now, growing up, I never really had anybody to kind of like tell me goals or kind of like give me the motivation I needed to kind of like pursue goals. So I was kind of always the kid who was always left out, kind of alone in a way. Like, I was kind of bullied, but in a way, like, I kind of kept to myself. And I would usually, like, play games. Like, back in my childhood, I actually remembered having a PS2 and playing a lot of Sonic Heroes and stuff like that. Just because it was just me. I hated, honestly, being bullied and all that stuff, and I just never really got along with many people. And more or less, it's not that I didn't really get along with them, I just chose not to kind of like be in the crowd with them. And then it was at a point where I kind of got lonely and everything, and I kind of got to know the people and everything, and yeah, but basically I was always a person, I was alone. And I never really had somebody to set motivation. But actually, one day, I actually came across one of Pat's videos. I'm going to link that also in the description. But yeah, it's called Screw the Haters. Now, it was basically saying, I'm going to briefly sum it up. I don't want as much as I want this to be a longer podcast, I don't want to go on kind of like spouting nonsense and all that stuff. But basically, the point behind it was that basically, he just kind of describes goes on about what has been going on in his life, all the negativity that everybody he's been around, and kind of like just goals that he's had set due to people's negativity, how they their negativity inspires him to do more and kind of like be like, you know what, screw your opinion, I will do what I do. It doesn't matter if it's realistic or not. And that was that first step that really pointed me in any kind of direction, honestly, what made me the way I am now, to be honest. Because when I first started doing anything, I was always half-assed. I didn't really care about it. School, I could tell you right now, regardless of my school, my school was a little lazy in the way too. The one that back in my small town. But to be honest with you, that podcast and those words made me work harder towards schools. It wasn't till grade 12 that school hit me hard, and I'm gonna be completely honest, my siblings can't really handle the schooling here. And at first things were tough for me. And you would think, you've been going to school longer, shouldn't you be affected by it more? And in a way, I was affected to it, but these words of motivation honestly pushed me through those tough times and made me work my hardest. That's why I'm taking big gaps between YouTube and everything, is because I'm studying or doing stuff. Although it's kind of shifting from what I was, and I'm saying that you should stay with that. There's no harm in doing a little extra studying to kind of be better, honestly. It makes you better, because honestly, I couldn't have gone to a lot of my marks that I did without studying. Honestly, I very much enjoy, I don't hate studying, but and I don't love it. But it's been helpful. And it's gotten me places that I never thought I could have. Right now, I'm walking an 81, which is pretty good mark in English. Which English, I'm going to be completely honest right now, I suck ass at. I cannot write to save my life. But getting a mark like that shows that even though with the amount of dedication, if you really want to go do something and pursue something, you can do it. And honestly, even though I hate English with all of my guts, honestly, I don't like school, I'm pushing towards a further goal, because I think goals have become a computer technician and an IT, or if you don't know, that's an information technician. I believe it is, at least. But yeah, simply I want to become that, because it's just something that I enjoy doing. But in order to become that and to reach that point in my goals, I have to be able to complete these challenges that are set before me. So that's why I've kind of been just pushing, kind of working hard, and kind of completing these tasks to get them out of the way and kind of be you know what? I can meet these goals, and I can reach my destination. And honestly, it's helped me out a lot. Honestly, I can't say without the motivation that Pat gave me, or but in that matter, a lot of people gave me, I honestly wouldn't be where I am today. And that's what I'm saying, it's very helpful to get advice and kind of words of wisdom and kind of stuff from people around you, or else just people through the internet, because they help you realize your goals and your potential and all that stuff. It really just depends, honestly. That's really all I could say, because I feel I'm kind of losing my thought train here, and I'm just kind of going on. But simply, these people will help you find what your goals are, or make you realize what potential you have in yourself. Because honestly, I didn't realize the potential in my abilities. I thought I sucked at everything, honestly. But then Pat was you know what? Follow your dreams. Doesn't matter if they're unrealistic. It made me want to make YouTube. Yes, I do that. I do this as for fun anyways. Because honestly, I enjoy doing YouTube. But then I realized, there might be, if this doesn't work out for me, what if I go through college or something? What would I want to pursue? So I looked through a bunch of different things. I really enjoyed computers. I've always been good. I've noticed that I've been good at fixing computers and messing around with computers. So I was you know what? Let's look up. Let's just go through the type of subjects that this school has for me. Which, if you don't know, I'm actually planning to go to NAIT, which is a very big school in Edmonton. very popular to people who live in Alberta. And possibly anywhere in Canada, I don't know. But yeah, simply I want to do that, so I pursue. I look at my things and I go through everything. I find this specific job, this kind of class that I want to take. I was like, sounds interesting. I read all the credentials and it looked all fine. Simple stuff like Math 30-2 and like just simple stuff like that. But what really hit me was the fact that where I was looking at, it said I needed a 65 average. But one day, the people from the school actually came to my school at the time and was like, you need a 70 average. So I'm like kind of getting nervous here because like I'm not exactly the best student. And I rock around maybe 65s, maybe 70s at their like latest. But then like I was like, that's kind of pushing it, you know? And then I was like, you know what? I want this. This is a job that I found for me and I want to do badly. So that's when I started pushing harder in my school. Like, I think I ended with a 70 in my science, or no, 74 in science, a 70 in social. I'm right now rocking an 81 in English, and a 73 in math, which my math I feel like is going to increase because we just recently did some quizzes. My assignment is still need to be marked. And just a bunch of that stuff that's going on. I really don't want to go into that. But, yeah, and honestly, I feel like I have the potential of getting into what I want to. And that was all thanks to a bunch of people that gave me the support that I needed and just made me realize the potential I never had. So I can really thank them so much for that. And honestly, I don't know where I would be without their help. So, if you need help from anything, always, because I'm telling you right now from experience, if you have any questions regarding school, always go to your teachers or your professors. Because honestly, I'm not a good student, like I was saying. But I was able to become a better student, not only because of this, but because I went to my teachers regularly. Like, yeah, they probably might have seemed a little irritated at the time. But when I needed a question answered regarding a certain topic, I would ask them. They give me the answer. I would remember that. And that's how I kind of grew. And that's how I became pretty much a better student, because I started asking my teachers all this kind of stuff. And I'm going to tell you right now, that's the reason they're there. They're there to support you, to teach you, and kind of like look out for your learning. So if you have any questions regarding any of your classes, talk to your teachers/professors. They will be able to help you out. I'm telling you right now. That's what they're there for. Regardless of how annoyed they may seem, as long as they give you an answer that you're looking for, I feel like you're benefiting in some way. So yeah, that covers that kind of topic. So basically, there's more like the summary of that. Basically, follow your dreams and don't let others tell you what to do with your life. And also, if you need help in life, well, more or less in school, reflect back with your teachers and professors on questions that you may need to ask. So anyways, our next topic, actually, this is a very interesting one because it's been like close to a month and I have not gone onto this. I even had a podcast before, like, during when it came out. And that is Zombies Chronicles. Now, I said I wasn't really going to make it. There's obviously going to be some zombies or some kind of like games involved and some podcasts, not all of them. But this one I really want to talk about because I never really got into the topic of Zombie Chronicles. And she doesn't know. She does know what she wants. I don't know if you guys heard that. Just one moment. Okay, we're back. Okay, it's just that I had to deal with that whole stuff, and I'm super tired. So back to what I was going with. It's been about a month, and I haven't even gone through Zombie Chronicles. Yeah, and I actually made a podcast about a month ago talking about... Oh wait, did I talk about DSL5? Maybe I did. I'm not too quite sure. I knew I talked about... Oh, okay. I maybe did. I'm not too quite sure. I can't remember. I may have briefly talked about it with High October. I'm not quite sure. I want to kind of go with it with myself and what I think about the maps. And kind of just slim over them. Because I didn't make a proper DLC 5 video other than a top 5 I made about 4 weeks ago. And yeah, I kind of want to just cover that, kind of go through it, and just say the things that have actually made the map become the maps become better. And I know I'm kind of late for this, but better late than ever. So, first map is Nocturne Tone. Now, this map, for a map that's pretty basic, there wasn't really much to change in it. Obviously, Treyarch added in, like, gobgums and perks, I guess, because of the Wonder Fizz, which is really weird for some apparent reason, because that kind of, like, takes away from the simplistic vibe of the game. But other than that, like, honestly, if you're trying to go for high rounds, it kind of balances it out, especially with how the game, like, how tight cornered the game is. Because the game, obviously, Nocturne Tone was obviously a hard map to begin with. We all knew that. But adding these things in, you would think it'd get easier. But because of the hit system on Black Ops 3 Zombies, I would say it's pretty balanced out now. Verrückt, on the other hand, I'm thankful they brought, because this map obviously lost a lot of stuff. Like, obviously you can pack punch in this stuff now, even though there is no pack punch. You can get a bunch of, like, other new perks for the map, like Widow's Wine, for example. Then you have, like, guns like the Wonderwolf and, like, just a bunch of new stuff returning to maps like Verrückt, which never originally had them. But honestly, this map became a lot easier. I'm going to be completely honest. Ever since World at War, there's not really a way it could have became harder. Because, like, the zombies hit at lightning speed, like, legit, like, those things hit not only fast, but ran, like, 50 miles per hour, I swear to God. They're almost as fast as zombies on, frickin' the tank in Origins. But yeah, they were just pretty fast zombies and made things a lot more difficult than, like, with everything. So I found that adding all these things into it made it such a better map. Not to mention there's less glitches and everything, so it's a lot better to run. Then goes to Shinonuma, which is the same kind of exact thing I was mentioning about Verrückt, except it's, I would say, more difficult now because zombie spawns are different, and just overall the Wonderwolf is not as good as it was back in the days. But even though that the Wonderwolf isn't as good as what it used to be, you still have Pack Punch now. You have, like, Double Pack Punch, getting stuff like Turn and Fireworks, maybe. Like, that makes things a lot better. Which, to be honest, can't even argue. Then you have, like, just a bunch of random stuff popping up, which, honestly, this map became a little bit harder, because there's no much way it could have gotten easier. Because Shinonuma was one of the easiest maps we've ever gotten, so, yeah. Shinonuma has basically just gone harder. That's all there was to it. And really the only thing that these maps have really improved on is their graphics. That's the one thing that's dramatically changed about them. Now, Kino, on the other hand, I am excited to see it make a return. I loved Kino. An amazing map. My first map, actually. Which, I'm probably just going to go into my first Zombies experience in another podcast, but yeah, this is just one of my favorite maps. One of the first I played. And overall, I was excited to see it make a return. Although, people are making such a big deal about there being no swastikas. Obviously, for reasons they have to censor it because of, well, they can't sell Black Ops 3 in Germany if that's the case, because it's illegal to have a swastika, so what can you do? So, obviously, people are getting really overly kind of, how should I put this? Overly pissed off at Treyarch over this. And honestly, it's a stupid cause. Like, really, it's one thing that you could change. And if you really, really wanted to go through the trouble, once this thing comes on PC, you can legit go into the files and change this if you really want to. Like, honestly, I don't think it really even matters, to be honest. It doesn't change the aspect of the game or the point of it. All this is just a couple of visuals wrong. Although, one thing I am disappointed in is the gun system in Black Ops 3. Like, obviously, you're not going to expect, like, well, more or less in Kino, because, as you know, of course, Black Ops 3 is going to introduce Black Ops 3 guns, but I feel like they should have introduced the idea of kind of like what they did in Origins, which I'll get into near the end. But that's the thing, though, is that with, Kino, they introduced all of the guns, Black Ops 3 guns, and they really should have made some guns make a return. Like, they should have put the M16 by the power. They should have put the MP40 in the speed cola room. Like, honestly, there were so many things, small, like, gun things, that just kind of pissed me off. Because in Origins, you have mapped, like, guns like the STG and the MP40 on the wall. So why couldn't they just simply take in another, like, couple hours to put it in the Kino? That's one thing I find depressing about, because, like, I feel like that's one of the nostalgic factors of Kino, is, like, having the MP40 on the wall. Like, you go through that whole area, and then you just reach the MP40, and then you wreak havoc on everything. And it's awesome. But it depresses me to see that the Kudos switched to place. And I feel like that kind of just ruined Kino in that aspect. Other than that, Kino was an amazing looking map. And honestly, the teleportation, everything about that map is just so much better. And honestly, I couldn't have asked for much more different from that. Other than the fact that there is now a Wonder Fizz, I believe, on that map. I'm not too quite sure, though. Plus, also, you have a bunch of new perks. So, amazing. Plus, double pack punch, which makes the map more easier than what it was. Now, Ascension. Ascension was never really a map that I could play for a long period of time. I never really liked Ascension too much, but I didn't hate it. In a way, it had a similar vibe to than like Kino, other than the settings, obviously. Because really, all it had was, you had all the Black Ops 1 guns, or well, in this case, Black Ops 3 guns. Then you have the Thunder gun, and that is really just all there is to it. That's the really only change, other than the introduction in the Black Ops 1 version of Stamina Up and Dead, or was Deadshot introduced into it? I think it was just Stamina. But in this case, obviously, it's not new. Black Ops 3, no new perks except Widow's 1, which still I'm kind of pissed off that they didn't bring a new perk in Zombie Chronicles, but hey, what can you do? But yeah, just overall, like, really nothing has changed from Ascension other than Gobblegums, to be honest, and Double Pack Punch, which it doesn't really change the aspect of the game, considering the game is already really easy. Although, it does make it a more challenge of defending your perks if you have Perkaholic and, like, Soda Fountain and, like, all those Gobblegums that give you extra perks. Because, as you know, the monkeys steal your perks, so obviously having more perks will make them harder to defend. Usually I used to run only just Quick Revive, Jug, and PhD, and in this case, if you get Perkaholic, you think it's going to benefit you, and then you'll be like, oh yeah, there's monkeys on this map, and then you have to defend like 8 perks at once, and you lose like half of them. So, and you can't, if you lose Jug and Quick Revive, you're going to be screwed, because you have 8 perks, so unless you have Unquenchable on, you're not going to be able to get those perks back. And that's what you're going to be running for the rest of your game. Unless you can get a free perk from the monkeys. If you can do that, I salute you. But yeah, then we go on to the next map, which I believe is Shang, which I love the introduction of Gobblegums and Black Ops 3 guns, but along with Double Pack Punch this map. Because this map was hard as hell to do. Like, I hate this, like, I don't hate it, but I have, like, a love-hate relationship, like, kind of like that abusive relationship. You hate the map with everything you have, but you still go back and play it, because, well, you still find it enjoyable sometimes, and it's really weird. Because I hate this map because of how tedious and tight-cornered and hard it is, but at the same time, with the introduction of Gobblegums and, like, all these different things, it makes the map so much easier. Like, you can have Perkaholic rocking by, like, round 2, 1, and you're all set to go. You don't have to worry about perks. That means you should have enough defense to go around the map, unlock everything, and do all that stuff. You can get shopping free, open up the whole entire map by round 1, and, like, maybe get a perk or 2 in there, and some guns. So you're pretty set up. Or else maybe you can hit the box up a couple times. You can get Immolation, Liquidation, and get the baby gun by round 1. It really just depends on the way things go for you. But in a way, having all those new features added to it, it's so much easier. And especially Double Pack Punch. You can have, like, Pack Punch, like, Dead Wire, or Blast Furnace, or even Fireworks for that matter. And have a good defense for a high round. Because obviously you don't have the Mustang and Sally making returns. So you don't really have that good defense weapon. But having all these different things are very, very helpful indeed. So, this has made Shang a more lovable map for me to play. And it obviously looks amazing, along with a bunch of the other maps, which it looked beautiful in Black Ops 1, but seeing him come into Black Ops 3, it's really amazing. It's really hard to describe, honestly. It's just so good. Now, the biggest improvement, I would say, of them all is Moon. Now, Moon was always a map that was just really bleak and really just looked like crap. Like, it had that Moon feel, but it just felt plain in Black Ops 1. Biodome, plain. But with the introduction to Black Ops 3, it made it look more, well, better, because you still get that Moon feel from it, which is amazing. And then you still have, like, a lot of the classic guns. So you still get, like, the M16. You have the wave gun actually made a return, / zap guns, which is really cool. You have the QEDs, you have the Gershes, which I don't know if I really explained that in Ascension, but the Gershes made a return, which is really cool. And it's just really awesome to see this. And I think, honestly, I don't know if it's possibly rumors, maybe? I don't know, but I think supposedly the Spaceman is less OP, like you can escape him or something like that. Plus, you can kill him with pop shocks too, which makes him killing a lot easier if you kill him a bunch of times and he has like as much health as George Romero. But yeah, he's really not as hard to deal with now, which is really nice. You have Space Dog, which is actually new, which this is a Easter egg that popped out. It was a thing that was mentioned by Matt. He actually went to Treyarch and he's like was confirming about Space Dog. It's an old kind of like Easter egg / thing going in the around Madden, like their kind of area. I think it's more Zombros, but I'm not quite sure on that because I haven't been around that long and I haven't watched Matt for that long. So it's really hard to tell what the whole idea came about. And another thing with that is that with Moon, the PES system looks so much better. Like, the PES used to make things so dull. It would block some of your view, and it just wasn't the best thing to have on. But now, you honestly can barely even notice that you have it on, which is really nice. Honestly, it made this map so much better, overall, it's just so much better. And having a Gobgum machine in the Area 51, brilliant idea. You can go for, honestly, further challenges. You could get pack punched by round 1 if you wanted to. I don't know how that works exactly. I think you could pack punch. I think they patched it where you could pack punch before turning on power, which is really awesome. So you can kind of do that round 1 pack punch thing, but it's a lot easier to do. You can get disorderly combat and get 40 grand in the first 5 minutes or however long disorderly combat lasts. Or else you can get shopping free. Pack punch all your guns, get all those double pack punches, get all the perks all set up, and it's dope, honestly. I really like it. It makes things a lot easier. And with Moon, I feel like it makes it less tedious. Plus, the biodome makes more sense, because biodomes are usually places where you grow plants and everything. Sure, they did this in Black Ops 1, but it honestly looked more or less like you're growing deserts with random trees popping out everywhere. Whereas this one, it looks really lush and green, and honestly just looks so much better than the biodome. Honestly, I feel like it would have been a cool idea as for Treyarch said. I don't know if you do this, but they should have it that if the biodome is broken, that all the plants dry up, because obviously no oxygen. So that would be a really cool idea if you're watching, Jason. But I don't know. The chances of you watching this are very slim. Now the final map, Origins. A lot of complaints about. Now, I'm not saying I hate Origins. I love it to see it remastered. A lot of guns like the MP40 and the SCG make a return. The staff's being remastered. So much things. But there's a couple of things that kill it for me. First things being the mud. I hear from a lot of people that the mud is just god-awful. It's a lot worse than what it used to be. Excuse me. And I find that once I play this for the first time, it's going to really annoy me. Second, 2 Panzers. Obviously, they had to balance it out. So it's really cool in a way to see this, but I feel like it's also more tedious. And the third thing I have to mention is the amount of glitches. I've been watching plenty of Pat's podcast or speedruns lately, and when he's done them, they've just been huge, complete douches to him. In one of his runs, he wasn't able to place down the staffs anymore. Another run, he couldn't press F or whatever. You couldn't press the button to finish the Easter egg and go into the cutscene. So just so many glitches that just should be fixed. And overall, I feel like once these are fixed, Origins will become such a better map. Plus, you have floating tanks flashback. Go watch Relaxing End's video. It was really weird. And just a bunch of those small minor things that really just killed the map. So overall, there really hasn't been nothing much has changed. Like, locations for all the buildables are the same with the parts. And overall, just nothing else has changed. But yeah, and the only thing that really Origins had the ability to improve upon was its graphics. Other than that, there really wasn't much to improve upon. So that's why I find that was kind of sad. But other than that, like, it wasn't that bad of a map, but they should fix the coding. Other than that, once that's fixed, it'll be back to the way it was before. Like, an amazing map, almost flawless, one of the best zombie maps ever. But once that happens, it'll be all good. But anyways, if you guys are still watching this podcast, make sure to leave a thumbs up, because we are reached at about 36-minute point, close to about 35, 40, somewhere in that gap. So anyways, I hope you guys all enjoy this podcast. Make sure to leave a like. It really does help me out, as well as make sure to check out my previous video. It really does help me out, as well as make sure to subscribe. Obviously, who wouldn't want to subscribe to me? I'm an awesome guy. Honestly, it'd be really awesome to get some kind of recollection. But yeah, also, make sure to comment what you guys think. Also, comment with questions about life that you have, and I might be able to answer them, because I honestly want to try bringing more life questions into this podcast, and kind of like explain to them, like, maybe like what's a good way to wake up in the morning, stuff like that. Just overall, what I would think, and just some good questions overall. Good stuff to talk about. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you later. Asserted.